Single? Middle-aged? What the
Match your opinion, but listen to what I'm saying.
Yes.
Like,
okay,
watch,
bring that mic close, girl.
Watch your video and listen to what you're actually saying.
Okay, this is a big conversation. So I posted something. Ooh,
This is-
we need more wine.
Yeah, we
I have
do.
another bottle in case we need that.
I don't need another bottle.
Okay. After this
Because
conversation, we might.
This conversation is going to get dicey.
Yeah,
Just FYI.
FYI.
And what I would say is watch the whole thing.
Yeah, it's going to be a little controversial. I mean, I'm totally okay with that.
Yep, we are. And
Okay.
just watch the whole thing before you make any judgments.
Read the caption, people. I mean, literacy
Let's
is
start there.
Let's
That's
make
how this whole
literacy a
thing
thing.
started.
Yeah, that's how this whole thing started. So we weren't going to record another episode today, and I started talking about what's going on TikTok. So if you guys have been following us, you know that I come from, a banking background where I left banking because we were kidnapped and held hostage via home invasion. And
if they didn't know that.
if you didn't know that, that's what happened. So my daughter was 7. There was a home invasion. We were stalked for, 3 months, 2 months. I think the FBI report said 2 months, right? And
that they were watching you.
they were watching us for a really long time.
Every single moment.
Yeah, every single moment.
Every move.
Every move, tracking us.
Yeah.
And anyway, they broke the door down. They broke our house, broke into our house, and attacked myself and my daughter, and at the time my roommate. And they held us hostage. It was just a really violent, brutal home invasion attack. And they took my daughter from me, put her in a closet, put bombs on us, forced me to rob the bank or they were going to murder us. That's in a nutshell. And there was so much trauma after that. There was healing that needed to happen after that. A lot of therapy, a lot of PTSD, a lot of things, right? One of the things that happened was one of our first outings after that to try to get back out in public after that, to try to go, okay, we need to start trying to normalize our life again was, okay, let's try to go to a movie. So we go to a movie theater.
Where were you? Were you in Alaska?
No,
here?
not yet. Well, this is before we went to Alaska.
Okay.
We were still
here?
we were either in the new place in Oceanside or we're still living in the hotel in Carlsbad.
Okay.
Because we never,
San Diego.
So we were still in San Diego. We never went back to the house where this happened. We never lived there again or spent another night there again.
Right.
We ended up living from hotel to hotel until we could figure out what to do and where to go. And I mean, it was just a mess, right?
Yeah, okay.
So anyway, we decided to start trying to normalize. It might have been when we were in the Oceanside house, but I can't remember that little detail. But we were at a movie theater, and like I said, 2 of the men that did this to us were black. And a man and his son came and sat next to us in the movie theater right before the movie was getting ready to start. And my daughter looked at me, and that triggered her. It triggered her back into the trauma. It triggered her enough to feel that fear and say, I'm scared.
Say how old she was again, though.
She was 7.
7. Keep that in
7
mind.
people.
7.
I'm scared. Can we move? And right then and there, I had a decision that I had to make. And obviously people are like, what do you mean you had a decision to make? Well, you can get up and say, okay, let's move. I don't want you to be afraid. I want you to, let's just watch a movie. Let's get up and move. I don't want you to be uncomfortable, honey, whatever the case may be.
Right.
Or I could say, no, we're not moving. We're staying right here because every man is not like those men that attacked us. Every black man is not like those men that attacked us.
Right.
I do not want to perpetuate that fear. We're going to end that right here and now. And we're going to stay and we're going to sit here. And in the post on TikTok, the heading was, which wolf will win? So if you remember the old Cherokee story, it's like,
I don't, but you go into it in your TikTok.
which wolf do you feed? Do you feed the one that's full evil, or do you feed the one that's light and goodness and love?
Right.
Well, you feed them both, right? In that story, in the Cherokee story, you feed them both. And in that moment, I had to figure out even though we could feed both wolves, which wolf is going to win in that moment. For me, I was not going to feed that wolf of fear. I wanted her to understand that we were going to sit right there and enjoy a great movie and teach her that lesson that was not to judge all by the actions of a few, and don't carry that fear forward with you that they introduced you to, that they are the ones who birthed that fear when they broke that door down and brutally attacked us, right? I posted this story on TikTok and it has almost 1 million views right now.
Crazy.
And the comments are unbelievable. People saying, you're a racist. Why would she ever think that in the first place? It starts in the home. You taught her this. These comments are unbelievable. And I explain the situation in the caption. But they're not reading it. And they're not listening all the way through. And our last episode was about healing. Get this. They can't see past their own trauma, some of it 400 years old,
Yeah.
to see that this was a good thing and a teachable moment to teach her the exact opposite of racism,
Right.
to teach her not to be racist, to teach her not to carry that shit forward, to teach her not to carry that fear forward, not judge all men or all black men or all Hispanic men or anybody in general because of the actions of 3 people, and to help her heal forward and heal positively. But that TikTok, those comments are full of just
Hate.
And
racism.
racism that's not coming from me. I mean, if you read
No, it's
these
coming
comments,
from the posters because they're projecting based on what they have in their head or their heart. Because to go back to the comment of that's taught in home, she wasn't afraid prior to the break-in.
of course not.
But then the break-in happens, and those men were brutal. They all went to jail. They were all found guilty. If you read her book or watch Lifetime movie, you will know. So if you do your research before you make a comment, which is always my big deal, but that's another story too. But
Yeah.
anyway, it wasn't learned behavior.
It was learned
Well,
by them.
it was taught to her.
It was introduced
by
to her.
them.
Yes, by them.
Yes, it wasn't learned to be. She wasn't afraid prior to that. They taught her to be afraid because they instilled a lot of fear
A lot.
in both of you,
A
which is why
lot.
you went through you were fearful for your life. They taught you that. So then here comes another teachable moment when you're in the movie theater
Yeah.
and you have a split-second decision to make.
Right.
And you make the decision to teach her that it's not always bad. The men aren't bad. Black men aren't bad. Brown men. It doesn't matter. People aren't bad.
Not all people.
Not all people are bad.
Not all
Right.
men.
Right.
Not all black men.
And
not
you
all
taught, and
Hispanic
you
men.
had another teachable moment where you got to teach her that, and you made her stay. You both stayed. You were probably fearful too. You're just not admitting it.
I wouldn't say I was fearful, but after
Uncomfortable, like something?
Yeah, I would say that anybody who understands violent trauma at that level, anybody who knows anything about violent trauma at that level, and even if you don't, you need to at least be open to understanding what that looks like for people who have been brutally, violently attacked.
Right.
That there are triggers. You are triggered. Something happens physiologically on a very visceral level that you can't control. It's just all of a sudden you feel this thing that you're like, oh my God, you freeze up.
Right.
You know what I mean? You freeze up, you tense up, your brain starts going into flashbacks, and you have all of these things happen to you throughout the healing process until you get to the point where you're really, really healed, which is where we are now, where we can talk about it. We're not triggered
No.
really much at all anymore by just certain things. Yes, still a little bit. But back then it was fresh, and she was 7, and
I think that's the key point.
I
She was 7. Like,
yeah.
people just aren't grasping. They're so eager to attack and jump instead of like, let's look at the big picture. Like, listen to your whole TikTok, read your whole captions, maybe read some of the comments from people. Maybe Google Michelle Renee and find out what happened. I mean, her daughter was 7. This was a long time ago.
Yeah.
You guys have
We're way.
Oh, you're so past.
Now
This
we're
isn't
teaching
even a part of
healing
a
now, and
conversation.
we're speaking on healing. I have another book coming out on healing,
Right.
so we're on the other side of it.
Totally on the other
But
side.
the reason why I posted this is because I was asked to speak at an event a few weeks ago to a group of people in a room that have recently gotten out of prison. And there were judges and parole officers and people getting out of prison. And the message was, I was up there as somebody who had been brutalized by a violent crime. And my daughter was there with me and been brutalized, obviously, with me of this violent crime. And we were talking about forgiveness. The entire talk was about radical forgiveness and how to heal forward and heal positive and heal not only ourselves and in our home, but how do we begin to heal communities. And that's and I was telling that story in this talk because I was letting people know that we have decisions to make, a million decisions to make every single day. We have so many decisions to make every single day. On a split second moment. And those choices that you make and those decisions that you make shape our children and shape our families and shape our communities and shape society and shape ourselves as well.
Sure.
So I was sharing that story to let people know that we have to make these decisions not to carry that fear forward with us in our lives and to not judge all because of the actions of a few. That was the entire message. But I mean, if you read these comments, they're like, it started in the home. And I'm like, yeah, home invasion, if that's what you meant. But yeah, I mean, the comments are wicked, really wicked. I mean, I can't even believe that people don't understand that this was a really positive, it was a positive thing, it was a positive message. I was like, I'm teaching my child. This was a major, major teachable moment that I think everybody should practice and teach this lesson.
I agree, which is interesting because I didn't see it on TikTok. I saw it on Instagram, and you did a follow-up, I think, on a story, and you said this isn't about racism, and I was like, racism? Where the hell is that coming from?
Yeah, because the entire comment section, everybody turned it into a conversation about racism, and it isn't about racism. It's about,
at all. That's why when I saw it, I was racism. What the hell is what?
It's literally about the opposite of that, and it's about not carrying fear forward in your life and letting that run and ruin the rest of your life, another day of your life. Like, it's the opposite of that. And I'm floored how many people don't get it. Don't get it. Don't see it.
Well, and I mean, it's just obvious by their comments. They didn't watch the whole video. They couldn't have.
No.
They couldn't have. And or read your caption. I mean, just pay attention instead of just, all they saw or heard the minute you said two black men, they were like, there they go to their keyboard. It's like, hold on.
Oh yeah, some of the comments are like, what do you mean she was afraid of black men sitting next to you? We should be afraid of you. You've been lynching us for 400 years. I'm like, really? Really? You're turning this into that conversation? We're talking about helping a 7-year-old who was brutally attacked and triggered with fear because of being attacked because of the actions of these people, and not allowing that to continue forward. And how that is so important for us to do as parents for our children, and just in general. I think it's such a good thing, but it turned into something really ugly on TikTok. I'm shocked. I was so shocked by that because it wasn't about racism. It's about not bringing fear forward, not living the rest of your life with that.
It wasn't even about black or white at all.
Well, it is, because I say two of the people who attacked us were black.
Okay.
And black men, and his son came and sat down next to us.
Honestly, about fear.
And she was triggered because of that, understandably.
If if white men had come and done your invasion and sat next to you at the movie theater, she would have had the same reaction.
Yes, and that's a big part of what's going on TikTok in the comments too. It's like, yeah, what if it was somebody
it would have
white?
been the same. I guess that's what I mean about that isn't about black or white. It was a teachable moment about fear and either living your life in fear and or not. That's, we've all talked about this whole experience that you had. You and Bria came out so amazing.
Thank you.
So amazing.
That took a lot of work.
Because of who you two are.
It's intentional. That was very, very intentional. And it was hard. And it was.
We're not going to let that ruin the rest of your life.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. And I'm still to this day.
Yes.
To this day, I want other people to know that they don't have to let violent trauma ruin the rest of their lives either. Right. But I mean, the whole comment section's littered with that. I mean, if it was white guys, would it? And my response is, I can't answer that because it wasn't white guys.
Right.
It wasn't. They weren't white men. So I can't answer to that. But what I can say is the conversation would be the same. Do not judge all by the actions of a few, and do not carry this fear forward. We are going to sit here and we are going to eat popcorn and we are going to enjoy this movie and we're going to leave that fear BS in the past where it belongs. The conversation would be the same. The message would be the same.
Right.
Right.
So is that TikTok the same TikTok where you talk about then you started thinking this is someone's son, father, uncle?
That's a different one.
A different one?
Yeah, that's a different TikTok because that's the same kind of thing. I
guess my point with all of that, because I go down the deep rabbit hole of, if I'd have come across your story and didn't know you, I would have Googled you and gone down that whole rabbit hole. But, oh crap.
Well, it's funny. One guy, because I spent like 2 days, because at first I was like, oh my God, another teachable moment. I'm going to school these people with all these comments that are saying, yeah, it starts at home. And I'm like, home invasion. She was 7. This is what happened. That fear was introduced to her.
Keep in mind she was 7.
Yeah. So I'm thinking I'm going to school all these people. Well, that's exhausting. There's like 4,000 comments.
I told her, I'm like, stop.
I stopped. I can't. I just couldn't. But
no.
Initially I was like, oh, I'll sit down, But then I guess that is exhausting. Oh my God. So, but a lot of it was, I forgot where I was going with that.
Okay, so let me go back to my
your
thought,
stuff.
and maybe your thought will come back. Hello, welcome to being
in our later years.
Yeah. So what I was going to say was, what people don't know is you actually reached out to those men in jail, and wrote letters and got letters back.
We wrote a letter to one of them and got
and you actually met with him.
Many years later, we got a letter back that
my point
changed
about
his life.
It changed all 3 of your lives.
Everybody, yeah.
And like you say in one of your other, this is someone's brother, uncle, dad, grandpa, whatever, friend. It's like you really took it a whole nother step and started thinking about this. You started thinking about them.
100%.
You took it out of you and started thinking about them. And who are they? That's what it was. What brought them to make the decision to do that to you?
What happened to them in their life?
Happened? Yeah, so these people that are making these comments, I'm just like, oh God, ignorance. That's ignorance.
Yeah.
Hands down, that is ignorance.
Mm-hmm. And they're just
sadly.
And they're
because here's a teachable moment, and you and Bria and even your one attack have come leaps and bounds through that.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no prejudice, there's no racism, there's
none
no
of
fun
that.
of that bullshit. These other people are projecting, and that's ignorance.
And it to me, it's like, there's a big conversation that we won't get into. I don't know why do they call it reverse racism? I just think racism is racism no matter which side it's coming from. It's coming from all sides. I feel like there's, it's coming from all sides.
Right.
I'm going to do what I can today to make sure that mindset is nowhere on my radar, nowhere on my child's radar, which is going back to the movie theater, which is why I said, no, we're going to sit here and eat popcorn. We're not moving. Not everybody is like that. We're not going to live it 400 years ago. We're going to live in the here and now and make a decision right now to make sure we're not carrying any of that crap forward.
You actually stopped it right there with Bria.
Yes.
You stopped it right there.
That was the point.
You stopped prejudice, you stopped racism, you stopped judgment, you stopped it all
Fear.
right there.
Yes.
Fear, all of it. I
Yep.
mean, you stopped it right there and said, nope,
We ain't moving.
we ain't moving. We're staying right here. We belong here. They belong here. Not all people are bad.
We belong here.
Yes,
All
we
here.
all
we belong here together.
Amen,
Girl,
sister.
amen, sister. Do we have any more
Jeez.
wine? I
Yeah,
need
we
more
do.
wine.
Like, come on, people.
Can we stop this
Can't we
crap
just all
already?
get along? I mean, I know that sounds like
we just stop all this already?
yeah.
Come on.
We all belong here together.
That is a great way to end it. That was a heavy duty. That was
I know.
heavy duty.
We're going to get some shit. We're going to get some flack.
Whew.
And that's all right. You know what?
That's okay.
We're open for it.
This
It's a
is
conversation that needs to happen.
I agree. And you know what? I'm going to give credit to some of the people on TikTok that were saying this is a conversation that needs to be had. Bravo, mom. Good job. And I did spend 2 days, like I said, like trying to school people, thinking like, oh, hey. And a lot of them, once I said, she was 7 when they attacked us. They're the ones that introduced her to this, not me. It was not taught by me. It was taught by them. Crickets. But I do have to give kudos to the people who actually did respond to me saying that, going, oh my gosh, okay. I'm
right.
so sorry for this. Great job. Baby steps. We all need to be making these kinds of baby steps. I agree.
And bravo to those people
Bravo.
who actually
I have chills all over
that
just thinking about
stayed
that.
in the they stayed in the conversation.
Yeah,
they
they
didn't just make a
stayed.
comment and bail. Like, they stayed in the conversation to see if you responded. You did. They read your response, absorbed it, and came back and said, okay, good job, Mom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good job, Mom. Yeah. Great. And a lot of people, there are some people that got it right away. And then there are some people going, read the comments. And I actually had one guy said, read the caption.
Yeah.
It explains.
Hello.
And you know what his response was? I don't have the attention span to read the caption. Can you just please break it down for me? I'm like, are you kidding me right now?
No.
Welcome to social media. No attention span, which is why they don't read the caption. They have like a 2-second attention span. They hear one little soundbite and go off and make assumptions. And it's funny because I just filmed a podcast the other day with, have you heard of the book, The 4 Agreements?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
I have.
Have you read it?
I want to say I have.
Oh,
actually.
you got to read it. Like, it's one of those books you got to read
gotta
again
read
and
again
again
and
and
again
again because
again.
it's like
Yeah.
life stuff,
Yeah,
It's
probably
like,
packed. I'd have to buy
oh,
it.
it's so good. I need to we're going to have to read it together and then have a discussion about it because
Okay.
we just interviewed on a podcast that we're launching, Chats and Tats, and the son of the man who wrote that book, his son has also wrote books about self-mastery and all this stuff. And he was on the show the other day and we were talking about some of this stuff and he was talking about healing and he was talking about, and he actually mentioned on the thing about the 2 wolves and talked about it. And I was telling
okay,
him this
that's-
story.
okay.
That's living it. We've got to live being impeccable with our word. We've got to live with, doing all of the not taking things personal, which it was a big thing in this whole kidnapping, hostage, violent situation. I had to get to the point where, which on the road trip to Alaska, which we'll talk about, but when I started thinking about who they are as people and humanizing them instead of demonizing them, it was a complete
Right.
game changer for me.
Right.
Because I had to figure out first not to take it personal. It wasn't personal.
No,
And
you
teach my
just-
daughter, don't take it personal. This wasn't personal. We were just a means to an end for them.
Right.
We were a vehicle to get money for them.
But you not only taught your daughter, you actually taught your friends, because you definitely taught me. Like, I remember, we'd be at dinners and I'd just look at you and go, there's no fucking way I would be that. I just don't know how she can do that or be that or say that. And it's like, okay, well, sit back. I mean, what do we know about Michelle? Like, you taught the three of us girls. I'm not going to say their names, but there's four of us.
Yeah.
But yeah, I know you taught me.
Thank you.
And I would
that.
bet to say you taught all of us a lot during all of that. Because even though we weren't there with you, we went through it with you and Bria. And it's like there were a lot of teachable moments.
Well, you saw the trauma.
Yes.
Even Dave. So Dave, we're getting ready. There's a 48-hour special coming out. So Dave is my brother.
Yeah. Okay.
And one of my brothers, and he ended up showing up like a superhero for us in the aftermath of this violent situation. And he was at the trial every single day and the whole 9 yards. But he, I forgot why I was going with that again too. Shit balls.
Okay, note to self: maybe we don't drink a bottle.
No, we drink a bottle of wine. We drink a bottle of wine. So no.
Oh my god!
I lost my train of thought.
Okay, so we were talking about how it was a teachable moment for us girls.
Yeah.
And then you were saying he was showing up. He was at your trial.
Yeah, no, lost it. It's gone. It's gone.
Fuck.
Shit.
It happens.
All right. Well, if it comes back, we'll record it on another episode.
Oh my god. Seriously.
Good.
Do not drink a bottle of wine when you're doing a podcast.
I don't know. I'm kind of enjoying it.
No, I am too. But
it's really good. We went through a whole bottle.
Time.
No,
Well,
second
no.
time. Second time.
Okay, between the two of us.
Okay, between the two of us.
There's been three.
Okay, three.
You've had two. I've had
three
one. None of
moments
them
where
are
we're
keeping score.
Where was I go? Where the hell was I going with that? I have no idea. Like, legit lost it. Lost it completely. Like, whoop, there it goes. It went off my balcony.
Which, it's funny because we talk about, because we think it's age. It's really not age. Honestly, young people have these same, like,
moments.
They lose it. Yeah.
Moments.
It'll
we
come
call
back.
them moments.
It'll come back.
No,
and if it doesn't, that's fine.
I mean, I feel like... Oh, I was talking about 48 Hours, getting ready to do a special on us. That's coming out at the end of this month, actually.
Oh, they are?
Yeah. So 48 Hour special is getting ready to be released at the end of this month in January, end of January 2023, brand new one.
Okay.
We just wrapped filming like 3 weeks ago.
I had no idea.
Wait, what?
You did not share this with
We've
any
been
of
filming
us.
with them for months.
You have not one story, nothing.
What?
I had no idea, Michelle.
Oh, crap. Well, okay. 48 Hours
Are you allowed
CBS.
to talk about it?
Yeah, oh yeah.
A little bit?
48 Hours CBS is coming out with a special.
Okay.
Here's why. 48 Hours did a special on this whole event years ago, right after it happened.
When? Right.
It wasn't great. The woman who interviewed me, cold as a fish, terrible. She was not great. The end of it was not great. I was not happy with the way that they portrayed things. They left sort of doubt in the viewer's mind that I thought was really unfair and cruel, honestly. And so fast forward, the ringleader who'd been lying the entire time, he lied in the courtroom. His defense was a completely fabricated story about me being the ringleader, him and I were having an affair, all this stuff that was all just crazy made up bullshit, right?
Lies,
that they allowed in the courtroom. Oh, nice knot. That they allowed in the courtroom. Like, they threw out one of the defendant, his co-defendant, two separate trials, long story, one of his co-defendants completely confessed. They threw it out. The jury didn't hear it. He came up with this complete fabricated story with his freaking scumbag attorney. And that was literally let him go, like attacked me on the stand with all these lies and all this stuff. It was awful. Oh my God. And I lost so much faith in the system after that, right?
Well, I was just gonna say,
yeah. Oh my God,
system.
It was so horrible. And I was one of those like people that was like,
rah,
rah justice system. No. So
you wonder why innocent people end up in jail.
Yeah. So last year, now I get it. But so last year, he was up for parole, and the prosecuting district attorney who prosecuted the case, he's like, I'm showing up for this. I'm going to ask him point blank. He sent me a message like, I'm going to ask him point blank at this parole hearing, like, was your testimony about Michelle true? He's like, I'm holding my breath because we don't know which way this is going to go, but I'm going to show up and I'm going to go for it. He shows up, and the ringleader finally, after all these years, says, my entire testimony was a lie.
Oh, that's right.
Everything about Michelle I said was a lie. Everything she wrote in her book was the truth. All this stuff, like, finally admitted that it was all crap. And so I emailed the producer of 48 Hours and said, hello.
Hello, is it me you're looking for?
Hello, is it me you're looking for? Here's the transcripts from the parole hearing where he says all of that was a complete lie. Finally confessed, and I'd really like you to send this to the woman who interviewed me, who was not nice to me, and tell her hello. Here you go. And I didn't know if they still even worked there. I just still had the email. I guess she still works there. She's super great. Love the producer, by the way.
Okay.
But the woman who interviewed me was the wrong person. Like, she wasn't a mom. There was zero warm and fuzzy about this chick. So, she emails me back. She's like, oh my gosh, we need to do a follow-up story on you about this. We got to make this right.
Nice.
And that's exactly what they're doing. They're making it right. They're actually going to do a full story. They're doing a full 1-hour episode on us at the end of the month, about our journey, what happened, about finally the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth is getting ready to come out. And they interviewed Bria. For the first time, I was not in the room for an interview. And she's like, Mom, you're going to cry the whole time when you watch it, because I have no idea what she said. And they interviewed Dave. They interviewed the freaking defense attorney. Wow. And I can't say what he said. No, I know what he said. Yeah. They told me what he said. I can't say holy moly, what he said. You have to watch this. You have to watch the show.
So are they going to backtrack with the old 48 and then bring it forward? Okay.
They're bringing it forward to now he's telling the truth, everything I went through in the courtroom because of all that lies, everything, basically the re-traumatization of going through the court process when you're being lied about after already being brutally victimized. Now you're going through this court process where they're victimizing you again in court, and you're going through all of this, and now they're finally telling the truth, and they're finally talking about, moving forward and Bria's MS and how all of the struggles that we've went through, and now my company, and now my book coming out about healing and about what really, really matters, which is healing, and back to the conversation which began this, which is about not carrying any sort of hate or anger or bitterness or prejudice or fear forward. That's the whole point of it. And so they're really finally, hopefully, fingers crossed. I mean, part of me is like, everybody's like, let's do a watch party. And I'm like, I kind of just want to watch it alone at my place in case it's like, bad again. I have a little, I feel a little, what if they don't, what if they do what they did last time?
So they don't send it to you prior to approve it?
No.
Oh, okay.
But I think I feel like somebody's finally going to tell it right and true and honest. And I feel like this is finally going to be done the way it always should have been told and always should have been done. And it's going to be, the truth about us and none of the, none of the lies and none of the stuff about us that was perpetuated before that was really, really hurtful and hard to... It was hard because after all that was published, it was, again, back to the comments online. I mean, people are like, she was involved. She did this to her daughter. I'm not buying this. She was definitely the ringleader. I mean, the stuff people were saying because they left out and didn't tell the truth. That was hard. That was so hard.
Yeah, that was your biggest struggle, was that they weren't telling the truth, because you were so truthful and so authentic, and they were so deceitful and unauthentic. I mean, the truth always wins. Love wins.
Love wins. That's one of my favorite sayings.
But that's what this is about. I mean, even, going back to the situation at the movie theater with Bria, instead of going into the fear, you were showing love, like, compassion and love, and just, you've always had a love for people, all people.
Yeah.
You just and animals. Oh my God. We could go into your whole home. Which is how this whole thing started. Is we did not like each other because she was
because I'm a
on
hippie gypsy, love people,
that's
and
also why
plants, and I hug trees
oh my
and shit.
God. That's also why we love her. And I mean, truthfully, you're all about love, and can't we all just
kumbaya, people?
Yes, kumbaya. Very good. Kumbaya. It's the truth, though.
Oh, this is a great way to end it too. I think love wins. Like hashtag love wins. That's where I'm at. That's who I am. That's what I'm about. So this whole TikTok thing blowing up, I don't know what to think about it. I really don't.
I think it's another teachable moment of. Because you tried to go back and school everybody, and then finally it's like, Michelle,
I was exhausted. I couldn't do it. There's like 4,000 comments or something stupid.
You can change the world one person at a time.
Yeah.
But you're not going to change it on TikTok with all that hate.
No. But I'm hoping that all I can do is take the baby steps in my own life and take those baby steps in a really positive direction, with a positive message to my family and the people in my circle.
We're all learning from you.
Because that's all we have. And I tell my daughter, and not only my daughter, but I tell my team this in my company, we can only do our part.
And we all have a part.
We can't force our clients to do certain things. We can't force other people to do certain things. We're only responsible for our part. And my part is to make sure that love wins. For sure, 1,000%.
Right.
Okay to end it. I'm thinking about applying to go on Survivor. Should I do it?
Survivor.
I feel like it's my next.
Have you watched that show?
Yes, I feel like I'd be amazing. Only because everything I've been through that we just talked about, and I've never been alone. I feel like stripping everything down and just getting out there. I don't know. I think I want to apply for Survivor.
You know what?
Not to change the subject or anything, but
you go right ahead and survive and apply.
Well, I don't think you're going to do Amazing Race with me. Would you do Amazing Race with me?
I thought about doing Amazing Race with my brother. Actually.
Could Dolly and Dolly do Amazing Race?
Oh my God!
Yes.
I'm never going to do Survivor. I'm going to tell you that right now.
Okay, well, I would do Survivor. But Amazing Race, you and I on Amazing Race.
Oh, you know what? I need to watch that again and get a feel for it again. But I could do that before Survivor.
I'm religious about Survivor and Amazing Race. They're like my two, besides Yellowstone. Those are my shows because I'm like challenge oriented and travel oriented and team oriented. So yeah, I feel like I could do it.
Well, I mean,
I drove from here to Alaska by myself and slept in my car and in a tent. I've roughed it in my life. I feel like I could crush Survivor, but Amazing Race together would be
I could do Amazing
comical.
Race a lot easier. I don't know the word. More, better, whatever.
More better.
I know. That's not what I'm looking for. I could do that easier than there's no way in hell I'm ever doing Survivor. I just watched the last
Me too. I feel like I would do. You think I could do? I feel like I would do pretty good.
You could probably do it.
You're I could do good on challenges. Yeah, I've done all that.
Yeah, no.
I've been through all that.
Nope.
Strip it down. Ooh, all the challenges, the physical challenges. I'm a good swimmer.
It's physical. It's mental.
I'm not great at puzzles. Like I would have to opt out on that. Well, I don't know. I don't know. I feel like that might be like a next thing where because finally my daughter's getting married. My brother's not here. Like my dog's gone. Like I'm finally alone for the first time.
Yeah.
In my life, and I feel like that would that is that next thing where I could just be like something to just conquer and just be like, this is just for me. I'm in that place where I feel like it's time for me to just, for the first time in my entire life, just do something just for me. I've never, ever been able to do that until now.
You ever go to that extreme, though?
And I'm not really an extremist, so it's kind of weird, but I love the show, and I'm a nature...
I like watching the show, and I'm always blown away because who I thought was going to stay or get voted off, I'm always wrong. My family, so Wednesday nights, we have Wednesday night dinner. My brother, my mom, and I, we all watch it. And none of us ever get it right. But one thing I know for sure, I could never do that.
Ooh, I feel like I could do it.
You probably could. You and I are different people.
But I would love to do Amazing Race. Okay, so we're going to end it here.
I'm not committing to Amazing Race. Just FYI.
Hashtag love wins. And let us know if you think Dolly and Dolly should be on Amazing Race. We should do a poll. We need to do a poll. Should Dolly and Dolly be on Amazing Race? I say yes. Yes. I say yes. Say yes. Okay, bye.
And a
whole bottle of wine. That was amazing.
Well, not quite, but we're almost there.
We're almost there. If you love the show, like what we have to say, please read the captions. Please watch the whole thing before you comment. So we know this is kind of a controversial subject, but follow us both individually. Terry Ledford, Michelle Renee, Dolly and Dolly. Follow us, like us, love us, hit the button, share, all that good stuff.
Yeah,
see you
all of it.
Save, all of it. Thanks everybody. Bye.
Bye.
Cheers.
Oh.